Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our sports podcast, episode 5. I am Brian.
And I am James.
It is nice to have y'all listen to us again. We thank you for choosing this podcast as your sports podcast of choice.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to put on a very great show for you guys.
Yeah, you guys are what we strive for the most while making these videos. But anyway, no further distractions. Let's get into our topics this week, and we would like to start off with the playoff push and the playoffs going in for the NBA and NHL. James, what would you like to start with today?
Let's start off with the NHL because that is where the most action has been. So
Debatable.
Oh, it ain't debatable. The NHL's hot. The NBA is not.
Oh, you are so wrong, buddy. Okay, that's a different debate for later. We'll have that debate later. Anyway, let's get into the NHL. I have the standings pulled up here. So let's get into it. Starting with the Eastern Conference. We've got teams who've clinched their spots and everything.
Let's start off with the Metro standings. The Washington Capitals have definitely been the best team this year, have clinched the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference by 10 points over the 2-seeded Carolina Hurricanes, which...
Yeah, the Hurricanes! No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
We still have the cup.
Yeah, but seriously, Alex Ovechkin, crazy stuff from him. But let's keep going, James.
No debates, that dude. All right. So, also after a long time, New Jersey has clinched their playoff spot, being the 3rd seed in the Metro Division, down by 10 against Carolina. So, that's pretty much all that's happened in the Metro Division.
That is not all that's happened.
Oh, really? What else has happened?
Columbus is trying to make their playoff push towards the end, trying to get a wild card spot over Montreal, who is actually in the Eastern Conference. Let me run that down. I need to pull up my sad violin real quick, guys. The Buffalo Sabres have been eliminated. Yeah, I knew they were, but
no, that wasn't gonna work, dude.
That wasn't gonna work. We would have had to win the rest of our games and everything. But actually going on to the Eastern Conference, the 4 teams that have clinched their spots: Toronto, Tampa Bay, Florida, and Ottawa.
Okay.
The fuck? Out of all of the teams, Ottawa.
How did they get here?
How? Okay, so for the Eastern, we've got the 2 Canadian teams, and we've got the 2 Florida teams. Does that really work?
Since when did Florida turn into a hockey state?
Exactly. And what happened to Boston this year? They're worse than Buffalo.
They're worse than the Red Wings. They're worse than the Flyers. What the hell?
Yeah, after being a Stanley Cup team not so long ago, man, that's sad. That's sad, Bruins fans. What happened?
That is really unfortunate.
Womp womp.
Yeah. Now, in the East, 3 more teams have been eliminated from playoff contention.
Detroit, Buffalo, and Boston. Yep, we know. Let's get off the boring stuff, James.
Whatever.
This guy hates me. I know.
I don't hate you.
Yeah, this guy hates me just because I'm a Buffalo fan.
Whatever. Let's get on with the West.
Yeah, let's get on with the West, shall we? All right. So starting with the Western Central, clinched playoff spots include Winnipeg, Dallas, and Colorado.
And Winnipeg has won the President's Trophy, meaning that they are the best team in the NHL for 2025 by point standings.
Who would have thought? Also, another mention, we've got another Canadian team, and we've got a team from Dallas. We've got a team
Texans,
from Colorado.
and we got teams from Vegas. Hockey in the desert.
And Los Angeles. Like, what happened to the LA Kings? Like, didn't they suck last year or something?
They made the playoffs last year, but were a first round exit.
Ah, okay. All right. I'm not that knowledgeable in the NHL, guys. That's for James. But anyway, another playoff. We've got some playoff push alerts. St. Louis and Minnesota, right neck and neck. 94 points for St. Louis and 95 for Minnesota. Both trying to clinch playoff spots at the end, but Calgary coming up as well with 92.
Just 2 points behind the St. Louis Blues, who, hard to believe that these guys were on like a 12-game winning streak a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and also looking at the upcoming schedule, let's preview that for you guys. Calgary, tomorrow and Thursday, coming up, they are playing Las Vegas and the Kings.
Oh.
Not easy, unless
No.
they do rest their starters, but I don't know what they do. I don't know if they do that in hockey.
I mean, I'd give a pass for the Knights and the Kings giving their starters a rest, but Calgary, they need to step it up. They need to have starters out there if they want to take one of these wildcard spots.
Oh, yeah. The thing with Calgary, though, they have 2 games left. St. Louis has 1. 1 game left against the Utah Hockey Club, who sadly has been eliminated, even though they had a pretty good season. For an inaugural season in Utah, not bad at all. Round of applause to them. I would say they're like Seattle and Las Vegas. They'll be a good team coming up.
Definitely.
As y'all know, Las Vegas and Seattle expansion franchises in recent years coming to Kingdom and Glory. Even though Seattle apparently hasn't been as good this year. But anyway, let's go to the Minnesota schedule, where they as well have 1 game left against Anaheim.
That may be an easy one considering how bad the Ducks have been this year.
Yeah, that should be a clinch. If Minnesota wins, they clinch their spot, no doubt.
I feel like Minnesota should have this one.
Yeah, Minnesota should have this one. You know, knock on wood if you're a Minnesota fan from us saying that, but like y'all should have this game.
If you don't, then we're gonna trash on you like we did the Sixers.
Yeah, yeah, don't make me go on an angry rant for you Minnesota fans. But then, so if you really want past the playoffs, let's run them down. Minnesota with a win, clinch. They clinch it with the win, that's their easiest path. If not, their easiest clinch is for Calgary to lose at least one of their games. Calgary needs to lose one of their games. Because if that happens, then Minnesota clinches their spot.
Meanwhile, for the St. Louis Blues, the ways that they can get in is that they win one of their games and Calgary loses one. That would be the only way for the Blues to earn their playoff spot, because as far as I know, Minnesota could lock up the first one, so the Blues would probably need to hope on a Calgary loss or 2.
Yeah, so tons of paths. So, like we said, Calgary needs to lose in regular. We need to mention there's 2 ways to lose in hockey. There's one way you lose in overtime or a shootout, and you lose in regulation. To clarify for y'all, they need for Minnesota to clinch, they need Calgary to lose in regulation.
Overtimes and shootouts are not included in this exception.
Yeah,
Calgary
no.
Calgary has to lose in regulation for them to get the wild card spot.
Yeah. If Calgary loses in overtime, they will still have a chance. At least we're not looking at head-to-head scenarios right now because they play way too many fucking games. We can't keep track of that. So, anyway, that's the NHL. We got a lot of spots clinched and everything. Can't exactly give you guys a matchup head-to-head preview yet, but what we can give you is a match preview of the NBA playoffs, which is what we will go into now.
Oh man,
So the
a
NBA,
lot.
yeah, like he was saying, a lot has happened.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, all right, James, would you like to start us off with the Eastern playoff bracket? Playoff bracket, not unless you want to start with the standings. That's up to you.
Yeah, sure. Let's start with the standings.
All right, Eastern Conference, take it away, my boy.
So, spots 1 to 10 are pretty much official here.
They are official. Every spot is clinched and official. Every elimination is official. No more regular season in the NBA.
That's over. The East is said and done.
And the West.
That's pretty much been decided too. As also positions 1 through 10 in the conference have all been settled. So, regular season done. It's time we move on to what the current playoff bracket looks like.
All right. Who clinched 1 through 6 seeds in the Eastern Conference?
So, let's start off with the East. Cleveland has clinched the first Eastern Conference spot. The second spot will go to the Boston Celtics. The third seed will go to the New York Knicks. The fourth seed goes to the Indiana Pacers. The fifth seed to the Milwaukee Bucks. And the sixth seed to the Detroit Pistons.
Okay, interesting. Those are and to remind y'all, those are guaranteed playoff spots. They do not have to play a play-in game to get in the playoffs. They have playoff spots.
Those have already been decided. Now let's go to another position in the East. How about the play-in tournament? Let's see what we got there. The 7th seed, my Orlando Magic. Thank God we're not out of this entirely. And the 8th seed, we have the Atlanta Hawks. In the 9th, we have the Chicago Bulls. And finally, the 10th and final non-guaranteed but likely spot is the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. Interesting. So let's go and real quick into the playoff bracket. Let's say that. So in the Eastern Conference playoff bracket, we'll give matchup predictions as well. The Cavaliers and Celtics do not know their opponents because of the play-ins. Those play-in spots will decide their opponents. But guaranteed matchups include the Pacers and the Bucks and the Knicks and the Pistons.
I think I got a fair assumption for what's going to happen here.
So let's start with the play-in. Also, those matches for the East include Tuesday, tomorrow, the Magic and the Hawks in Orlando, and the Bulls and the Heat in Chicago. And we remind you guys of how the play-in format works. The 7-8 matchup, whoever wins automatically moves on to play the 2 seed, which would in this case be Boston. So say Orlando won, they would play Boston. If Atlanta wins, they'll play Boston.
The 9th and 10th will play for Cleveland. So if the
Actually, that is incorrect. I'll tell you some on that why. So, the NBA. All right, playing also the 9th and 10th seed, the Bulls and the Heat. So whoever wins will move on in the play-in tournament. So say, and also the loser of the Hawks and Magic will play the winner of the Bulls and Heat. That game will determine the opponent for Cleveland.
All right. So, my bad on there.
Hey, you're good, bro. But speaking of that, who do you think's gonna win? Let's start with the Magic and Hawks. No, you don't have to give an exact score. Who do you think's gonna win?
Magic are going all the way, and we're winning the NBA championship. Enough said.
I I don't think you're correct on that exactly, but I'm gonna have Atlanta winning that game.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Hey, this is supposed to be a
Dare disrespect
kid-friendly
my Magic boy?
show.
That's
Well,
literally our name. We're gonna have the Magic to pull this off, and we're going to win that NBA title, whether you like it or not.
dang, bro, this guy is not kid-friendly. Can you guys believe that?
So are you.
Okay. Okay, kids, don't listen to him. But anyway, my prediction is the Hawks for that game. And I believe the Bulls are going to win in the other game. And then the Bulls and Magic will play. And who do you think is going to win that Bulls Heat game, first of all?
The Bulls. I don't like the Heat. They're an in-state rival.
Ooh, okay. So who do you think is going to win? According to you, it'll be Bulls and Hawks. Well, actually, yeah, according to you, it'll be Bulls and Hawks. Who wins that?
The Hawks.
Oh, okay. Alright, so, alright.
So,
Yeah, and I am going to go with the Hawks. Just, Josh Giddey, you're great and all, but I just don't see y'all beating Atlanta and Trae Young. So that would leave, according to my prediction, the Hawks playing the Cavaliers, and wait, hold on. Well, actually, I have the Magic over the Bulls. I'm sorry. I was thinking of another prediction. So it would be, according to me, Magic Cavaliers and then Celtics Hawks. According to you, it would be Hawks Cavaliers and Magic Celtics.
yeah, we get a little easier seed, but
Okay, the Celtics are not a little bit easier.
well, at least it's not going to be the Cavs.
You still gotta play the Celtics. I don't think that's much better. But anyway, so that is the East.
How about the West?
Yeah.
So,
Also to mention, I think the Knicks would probably beat the Pistons. And I think the Pistons would do pretty decent, but I think the Knicks win there. And I think we'll go with the Bucks going over the Pacers in the Eastern playoff.
all right. So, I'm going to have the Bucks over the Pacers for the East, and I feel like it's going to be a more easier victory for the Knicks over the Pistons.
Okay. All right.
All
So
right,
with
now
that,
here
we go on to the Western Conference. I'm excited. So, 1 through 6, clinched spots. These are all clinched.
All right.
Oklahoma City at 1. We all knew that. Then we have Houston at 2.
Okay.
My king, LeBron James, clinches
Shut
the
up.
3rd spot for the Lakers. And one of my heroes, Luka Doncic, helps him out. Actually kind of leads the team. Luka is actually leading that team. Go Lakers. I know I'm a Hornets fan, but I'm cheering for the Lakers in the playoffs.
You're such a bandwagon, bro.
Okay, be quiet. I can do what I want. Number 4, we got Jokic and the Nuggets, who just fired their coach for no reason.
Why the fuck did you fire them? That's the guy that literally won you an NBA title 2 years ago. and your only NBA title. What
Yeah,
the fuck, Denver?
that's his version of an angry rant. I have one word for you, Denver. Bruh. What
Yeah.
are you doing? That's gonna create huge locker room chemistry failures. Like
Yeah, of
that's not what wins you championships.
course it won't. Like,
Yeah. By
the,
the way, moving on. Number 5 seed, the Los Angeles Clippers, who clinched their spot because of the win over Golden State yesterday after Draymond Green missed the layup. Unacceptable.
God.
Then the 6th seed, we got Anthony Edwards, or I should say, too many tech foul guy.
Of
They
course.
clinched the 6th seed. So that's your playoff clinch. They are in the playoffs no matter what. So moving on to the play-ins. Number 7, Golden State, because they lost to the Clippers. Number 8, Memphis, who fired their coach too. For what?
Serious? Oh my
For
God.
what? You guys
Why?
were like the 4 seed at some point. You dropped down to the 8th. What the hell?
We're firing coaches for no reason at all.
Exactly. Get your shit together, teams. But anyway, 9 seed Sacramento and 10 seed Dallas. James, you want to preview the play-in matches?
All right. So, let's start off with the 7th and 8th seeds for the play-in, that being Golden State and the Memphis Grizzlies. So, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but if you want my prediction for the game, I'm going to call a little bit of a shocker here and go with Memphis.
Really? That is interesting.
Yeah, I am.
All right, who do you got in the other game? Dallas, Sacramento.
I got the Mavericks.
Of course, you pick Anthony Davis. But
I
anyway,
hate California teams.
yeah, anyway. All right, so that would leave you with Dallas and Golden State. Who wins?
Don't you mean Dallas and Memphis?
Oh, I am so wait, no. No, it'd be you had Memphis winning, right?
Yeah.
No, it would be Dallas Golden State then.
Dallas.
Oh, come on. You cannot go against my man Steph like that.
He's supposed to be washed by now, okay?
He's not washed though.
But he is going to be sometime.
Okay.
Hell,
Whatever.
it could happen. It could happen right now.
Man, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, right. I can't believe I support a playoff team while you support a team that's just happy to be there.
Dang. Okay. So my prediction. Oh, hi, cat. Yeah, my cat supports my prediction. But, so my predictions for that. So I'm going to have Golden State beat Memphis. And then I'm going to have Dallas beating Sacramento.
Thank you. You actually made the right choice for the California team.
Yeah. So then we got Memphis and Dallas. I'm going to go Memphis. As long as Ja Morant doesn't pull out anything, like a gun. Hopefully not. Please don't, Ja. Please
That's too far, bro. Chill out.
Hey, that's Ja Morant.
Well, what do you think he's pulling out? He can't pull out.
James, we do not talk about that on this show. I cannot believe what you just said.
You mentioned it first.
I was not talking about that. You are sadistic.
You literally said it.
I was talking about the video that Ja Morant posted on his Instagram with his gun.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I am so sorry. This show is supposed to be kid friendly, and this guy ruins it all.
Yeah, whatever. I'm an asshole. I don't make anything kid friendly. I thought you knew that by now.
Oh my gosh, man. I thought I knew this guy better.
You
Anyway,
did.
so yeah, Jog, please don't make any stupid mistakes again. Like doing that like done celebration to the sideline.
Yeah, don't make me point that out again.
Yeah, no. But anyway, that's the playoffs for the East. So previewing the actual playoff matches, Nuggets Clippers. I'm gonna have the Nuggets in that one, and then Lakers Timberwolves. I have a few words to say about the Lakers Timberwolves. Lakers in 4, baby.
That is not happening. That
Lakers in 4.
that
No,
is not happening.
I'm joking. I do think the Lakers could pull that off though.
If they really wanted to.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the NBA playoffs for you guys.
Alright, so
Speaking of another playoff, you want to know what did have to go into a playoff yesterday?
what?
The Masters.
Oh,
And
yes.
So yeah, guys, let's talk about the Masters. So,
And
let's all,
we have a surprise winner for the Masters.
which shouldn't be surprising, but let's all give a round of applause to Rory McIlroy for his first Masters W ever.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, my man. You deserve it. 17 Masters. Hey, lucky number 17. But, you know, crazy journey for him. Especially what he had to play through on the final day. And throughout the tournament, he got 4+ double bogeys, and he still won the tournament. He still won the tournament.
Bro, it's like things can change in an instant. One moment you could have the whole world against you, but you can be on top of it later.
Yeah. And those double bogeys weren't stopping him. But then he fell behind again. I forgot exactly what hole. I think it was hole 13. Fell just short of putting distance. And he put it in the water.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whoa. Now, me personally, I would not be aiming for the water if I was playing the biggest golf game of my life.
Well, you gotta think, golfing is not easy. Disclaimer, golf is not easy. I tried it. For instance, let me give y'all an example. I went golfing with my uncle while I was in Buffalo. And I thought, okay, I think I'll do okay. We played 9 holes on an all par 3 course. You wanna know what my score was?
Do I even want to know?
27 over.
What the fuck happened?
I just didn't have my best day. That was my first time ever playing on a course. Golf isn't easy, guys. You gotta put that into perspective. But, these professionals make it look easy, but it is not easy. Whatsoever.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so then Rory, he got a one stroke lead over Justin Rose on the final hole. Rory had one putt, final hole, could have won it all right there. It wasn't the hardest putt in the world. I'm sure he's made them before. He missed it.
Wow.
He missed the putt. He made the second one and put it in a playoff.
Wow.
Where he then put one of the best performances on hole 18 at the Masters in Augusta National and won the Masters.
Wow.
Crazy stuff. It was incredible to watch. In my opinion, one of the best, if not the best golf matches I've ever watched.
I bet.
A lot of people say golf is boring, golf isn't interesting at all. It's actually a very sophisticated and interesting sport.
Yeah, like, how can you accuse... some people actually accuse golf of just not being a sport at all. Like, what the fuck?
Well, guys, come on, golf is really good.
So,
I think we're going to talk about it more on the upcoming channel. But I also want to give some shout outs to some other golfers who came out to Augusta as well. Two golfers who are in their older ages, Fred Couples and Brett Langer, I think his name was, and they're older. Barely missed the cut, but they are 60 plus years old. Give them a round of applause. I know Fred Couples, he did a good job. So give them a round of applause too. And actually, he was under par after round one at Augusta. But then let's also give a round of applause to Justin Rose, who put out a phenomenal performance on day 1 and 4 to make a playoff with Rory McIlroy himself. Very, very well deserved second place. I'm sure he'll get there eventually. And he was a great sport about it in his interview. So just awesome sportsmanship.
yeah, so big shout out to everyone who showed up to play at the Masters, whether they were fighting for the championship or just happy to be there.
Just happy to be there playing, even if he got last place. It's every golfer's kid's dream. Every kid, if you want to be a golfer, it's your dream to play at Augusta. That's the biggest dream you have ever. Playing for the PGA and everything, it's crazy. So, congrats to everyone. Also, Scotty Scheffler put on another performance for the ages this year with 8 under. Just fell short of last year's performance, but you're not going to win every year.
Yeah.
So another one for Bryson DeChambeau. He was tied with Rory, basically, almost tied with him the start day for it. Just had a little bit of a rough patch yesterday, but I'm sure if he would have had a little bit of a better day, I think there would be some more talk right now.
Definitely.
And, just all the guys that came out, big congratulations to everybody who came out.
Yes. Without the Masters, there'd be no golf.
There'd be golf, but it would not be as interesting. Also, Jim Nantz as well, another great commentating performance there. Crazy, great stuff from him. Best, in my opinion, if not one of the best, if not the best commentator of all time across all of sports.
Yeah.
But that is another conversation for another day. Let's get into the main event and our grand final topic for this evening, guys. And we were gonna make this a full episode, but we don't have time for it. So we're making it into this one, guys. We have our top 10 mock drafts for the NFL draft, and we are going to share them to you, plus some more analysis, and that's how we're going to end today's episode. We also have some news for y'all. James will tell you, but that is for the end. So let's get started.
You want to start off, or should I?
I think you should start off with your top 10. I will count you down. You have your top 10 ready?
I've got them.
Yeah, me and him did not discuss this beforehand, guys. Anyway, we are at lunch today at school. We handed each other a piece of paper. Like, don't tell anyone until we record. So this is the first time we're hearing our opinions and mock drafts. This is the top 10, by the way. So, James, with the first pick, who do you have the Tennessee Titans taking in the draft?
With the first pick of the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cam Ward out of Miami.
I see why you picked that. All right. Any further analysis on that pick? Any decision why you chose that?
Well, I feel like the Titans have definitely needed a good QB ever since the departure of Ryan Tannehill. Will Levis, he didn't do anything. Mason Rudolph didn't do anything. I mean, how do you think they ended up being the first pick? So, Cam Ward out out of Miami. First pick of the first round of the draft, he goes to the Tennessee Titans.
All right. And with the second pick of the NFL draft, who do you have the Cleveland Browns select?
With the second pick, the Cleveland Browns select Abdul Carter.
Okay. All right. Any analysis to that?
Well, I feel like the Browns just rely on superstars to carry their team, like Myles Garrett. That's not a good look if you want to contend for a Super Bowl. You need more names than just Myles Garrett or old-ass Joe Flacco. So.
Old ass Joe Flacco. He actually did re-sign with the Browns just a few days ago, guys. So he's back in Cleveland. Guess who's back again? But all right,
Okay.
anyway.
All right, let's go.
Third pick of the draft, who do you have the New York Giants selecting?
Out of Colorado, representing the New York Giants in the third pick of the draft, we have Shedeur Sanders.
Whoa! That's a stunner. Especially after the Giants just signed two quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. What's your analysis on that?
Well, if Russell goes down and if the other guy goes down, then Shedeur will be right there to help out. So.
Wow, that is a stunner.
Yeah, there will
early.
The New York Giants will have some backup in the QB position.
Oh, wow. That is a stunner. I did not think he was going to put that. So, all right, moving on to the fourth pick. Who do you have the New England Patriots selecting?
With the fourth pick of the first round, the New England Patriots select the 2024 Heisman winner, not in my eyes, Travis Hunter.
Okay. I think there's no really analysis on that pick because it's Travis Hunter. Come on. Do you think they're going to use him as a corner or a receiver?
They don't have any recognizable names on both offense or defense. So
Stephon Diggs doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean, he should have finished his first season with Houston before already going out for a new team. But let's double our receiving core and put Travis Hunter as a wide receiver.
Okay. So moving on, the fifth pick of the draft, who do you have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting?
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Jalen Walker.
Okay. Out of
I'm
Georgia.
not sure where he went to. I think it was Georgia.
He went to Georgia. So
right.
I know he is a linebacker / defensive end. Why do you have him picking there?
I would probably have to put Jalen on the defense.
No, I'm talking about why you pick him there.
Oh, I mean, there's really I don't really have a good answer for that. I just kind of guessed on that one.
All right. Number 6 pick. Who do you have the Las Vegas Raiders selecting?
Well, we have, I'm not sure what's the right way to pronounce this name, but out of Arizona, we have Teteroa McMillan.
Teteroa McMillan, okay. Receiver. Why do you put him there with Las Vegas?
We needed someone to fill the dark void left by Davante Adams.
Okay. Number 7. Who do you have the New York Jets selecting?
With the 7th pick of the first round, the New York Jets select Tyler Warren.
Okay, all right. I see that. No real tight ends in New York, or I should say New Jersey.
Yeah, the New Jersey. I should have put New Jersey Jets and New Jersey Giants rather than New York.
Yeah, because, there's only one true New York team, baby, and that's Buffalo.
Yes. Despite the fact I don't really like the Bills.
Yeah, you still gotta respect us as the only team in New York. All right, moving on from that, who do you have the Panthers selecting at 8?
I got kind of a shocker here. Maybe not to you, but to me. With the 8th pick of the first round, the Carolina Panthers select Will Campbell.
That's not a surprise to me. I'll tell you why. Because we need an O line. They need an O line. They really need help there. So that is not a surprise. That's actually perfectly normal.
Hmm.
No
All
surprise
right.
on that. So number 9, who do you think the Saints are gonna select?
With the 9th pick of the first round, the New Orleans Saints select Mason Graham.
Okay, all right, all right.
Nah, I kind of don't have a reasoning for this one. This was also kind of a guess,
All
but
right, all right.
it's like the NFC South has no recognizable names unless you're on the Bucks or the Falcons.
All right. So with the 10th pick, who do you have the Bears taking with your final pick of your mock draft?
All right, the 10th pick of the first round, the Chicago Bears select, in my eyes, the 2024 Heisman winner, Ashton Jenney out of Boise State.
Wow. I knew you were going to put him in there eventually. He should have won the Heisman, but
Yes, if it
fell
weren't for
just short to Travis Hunter. He's the Heisman in our eyes, but Ashton Jeanty to the Bears, do you have reasoning for that? Since DeAndre Swift is already there.
well, we've got even more strength in the running game now. I feel like we didn't have that with DeAndre.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty sure DeAndre was at Philadelphia before he went to Chicago. I feel
Yeah.
like he was more of a beast over at Philly than he was in the Windy City.
I actually have a debate on that. I think he's actually doing better now, but no debates there. Let's go on.
All right, let's hear your picks.
All right. So with the first pick in my mock draft for this year, I have the Tennessee Titans selecting Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami.
Copycat.
I swear we did not see each other's mock drafts before this, guys. We're actually telling the truth on that. But, at number 1, especially over the weeks and after his pro day, it's become more obvious Tennessee is very interested in Cam Ward. And he would definitely be a generational game player, game changer, and everything. And Tennessee, they need a quarterback ever since their late great quarterback, Steve McNair. Rest in peace to him. But, Steve McNair was a great guy. Air McNair, they called him. And I think Cam Ward could definitely try and replicate that and become the next franchise quarterback in Tennessee.
And plus, everyone picks quarterbacks the first round anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's just lore in the NFL.
All right, ready for the second pick?
Yes, sir. So with the second pick in my mock draft, I have the Cleveland Browns selecting Travis Hunter, wide receiver slash defensive back out of Colorado.
Okay, what's your reasoning?
They they need some help at receiver, and if they want to pair him up in the secondary with Denzel Ward, they can. So I think they have some flexibility with that there for Travis Hunter. I know Abdul Carter would help, but especially he has a little bit of an injury history, so that might scare them away a little bit. So that's why the Browns picking the Heisman winner at second overall.
Okay, all right, I hear you. All
All
right,
right,
next up we have NFC New Jersey.
New Jersey, New York. With the third pick, I have the New York Giants selecting Abdul Carter, defensive end, Penn State.
Okay.
And that is because with that, they would form a three-headed monster of Brian Burns, Sexy Dexy Lawrence.
Yo?
That is actually his nickname. If you look it up, his Sunday Night Football entrance, he says Sexy Dexy. That is his nickname. I'm not even saying that just because, but and then Abdul Carter at the other end. That would be a three-headed monster. Three-headed monster
All right.
in New Jersey.
Okay. Great. All right. Fourth pick.
With the fourth pick, I have the New England Patriots selecting Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan.
What?
I have a reason. Their D line, not great. They need help, and Mason Graham would definitely help them with that. So
Uh,
that's my reasoning there. Really nothing else to say. Especially with Stephon Diggs, they don't really need a receiver this early. I feel like they could get a decent quality receiver in the second or third round,
okay.
even though they already drafted too many last year.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. For the final top 5 pick, heading to Saxonville.
Saxonville.
Yeah. That's because I think their QB got sacked a lot in the last few years.
Oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence. That's a rough one for him. I'm actually going to Jacksonville in a few days, so I'm gonna see Jackson. This is gonna be a pick. So with the fifth pick, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Will Johnson, defensive back, Michigan.
Okay. But shouldn't we need a replacement for Trevor Lawrence? Just a suggestion.
Okay, Trevor Lawrence is not that bad.
Yes, he is.
Okay, you cannot disrespect my former Tiger like that. But anyway, I think Will Johnson because he's the best defensive back here. If you exclude Travis Hunter, but like he's a two-way player. So like we don't know what he's gonna do in the NFL position wise yet. So Will Johnson would definitely help the secondary in Jacksonville, which does need some help, in my opinion. No technically big name guys. So I think that would definitely help him out in the secondary. That's why I have him going there.
Okay, sixth pick.
With the sixth pick in the draft, I have the Las Vegas Raiders picking my true Heisman winner, Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State.
There you go. Now you're finally realizing who the real Heisman is.
I've realized that this whole time, buddy. But reasoning for picking him there. The Raiders, if they did not trade for Geno Smith, I would most likely have them picking Shadur Sanders. But after the trade for Geno, you know they're going to go with him to start this year. Definitely, probably next year too. So Ashton Jeanty, they need a backfield. Like Las Vegas, their good guys aren't going to really help them. Like I forgot the guy's name anyway, like who plays in their backfield. So like they need some help there. Ashton Jeanty helps them out, and then they can get a receiver later in the draft, and then they'll have some real weapons there in Sin City.
Got it. Alright, so now let's go to AFC New Jersey.
With the seventh pick in the NFL draft, I have a trade.
Okay.
And we
Alright.
have a one spot trade. The Panthers trade up with the Jets for an exchange of a fourth round pick in
What?
next year's draft.
Fourth ain't worth shit.
Well, apparently the NFL teams these days it is. Apparently it wasn't worth it for the 49ers to trade Debo for a fifth. But anyway, with the seventh pick, I have the Panthers selecting Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State.
Wow. Oh my god.
And reasoning for that, they don't really have many weapons besides Adam Thielen. Tyler Warren's a big pass catcher, and he would definitely help Bryce Young out in his first year. And the Panthers, Panthers, it'll help him out a lot.
Alright. You hearing this? David Tepper, Bryce the Bust Young, you better get your shit together if you want to
Hey,
stay.
Bryce isn't a bust yet. He did
Yeah,
better in the second half of the season.
he is a bust. Matter of fact, he should be in the UFL.
Oh, you cannot say that about him.
I did, and I'll say it again.
Okay.
Bryce the
Uh,
Bust
let's
Young.
let's just go on to the eighth pick, bro. Bryce Young is better than that. Okay.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Whatever.
Eighth pick.
Alright, go. Go to New Jersey AFC.
With the eighth pick in the NFL draft, I have another trade.
Why does this dude keep trading?
I have another trade, and the Jets decide to move down again. One more spot with the New Orleans Saints.
Okay,
And
who the fuck are they getting?
The Saints are willing to give them a fourth round pick in this year's draft, along with a sixth in the
What?
2026 draft.
What is this kid on?
So, with that, the eighth pick, the New Orleans Saints select Tetaroa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona.
Oh my god, bro. What the hell?
So, they need another pass catcher besides Chris Olave, and his health history in the NFL hasn't been great. So that's why I have them picking the best pass catcher, in my opinion, in this draft, unless you exclude Travis Hunter, obviously. At the receiver position, Tetaroa McMillan, great hands, will definitely help New Orleans out.
Okay. Now, next pick.
With the ninth pick in the NFL draft, I have the New Jersey / New York Jets not trading this time,
Thank God.
and I have them selecting Armand Membo, offensive tackle / guard out of Mizzou.
Okay.
So I like that pick because the Jets, they picked Olu Fashanu last year with around the 11th pick, I believe, and he's developing. So like Armand Membo, like he's a good guard. I like him at guard, in my opinion. He'll definitely bolster the Jets O line. This is what the Jets wanted to trade down, get some more capital. In my opinion, I think they could have probably gone a higher pick for their pick. I just said fourth to be a little conservative, but I think they could definitely get more than that.
Okay.
So whatever they pick is whatever. I feel like they could at least get a third. I don't know if they can get quite a second out of it, but we'll see. But I think a third wouldn't be too much of a stretch. So getting draft capital and possibly some players as well. Like I think the Saints might be willing to trade them a player. So, like there you go.
Okay.
So I think Membo is definitely NFL ready and very versatile. I like him. So ninth pick for the Jets there.
Alright, and the top 10 and final pick for your mock draft.
With the 10th pick in my mock draft, I have the Chicago Bears selecting Mykel Williams, defensive end out of Georgia.
Okay.
So defensive end, the Bears. Montez Sweat can't do everything. That's why I have him picking another D there. Mykel Williams, very good polished defensive end out of Georgia. I think he'll help out the Bears there. So that's my mock draft. That's our mock drafts, guys. Okay, we got a round of applause for that. And let's get into some further analysis real quick. Not too much. But if I were going to continue my mock draft, here's how it would go continuing on. Pittsburgh would pick the next available. Actually, all right. Pittsburgh would pick. Okay, I gotta think about this for a second here. The Saints would probably trade ahead of Pittsburgh eventually to pick up Jackson Dart. The Saints would pick up Jackson Dart, trading up in the first round, and
Okay.
then I have the Steelers picking Shadur.
Alright.
And then, just later on, the receivers will go. And I have my Bills picking Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan.
Okay. To be honest, I did not expect you to put Shadeur Sanders this low, but
Yeah, like I said, the teams in the top, they got their quarterbacks like through free agency, So like the Raiders, they got Smith, and the Giants, they got Russ. So they don't need a quarterback right now.
Okay.
And I don't think they're gonna really. I don't think Shadur Sanders wants to be developed. I think he wants to be put in like a start now situation.
Of course, because he thinks he's he thinks he's good because he was
I mean,
in.
he is good. Don't get me wrong. He's a very good quarterback. It's just, I don't know. It depends. It's probably a lot of this attention is probably because he's Deion Sanders' son. But
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's my draft analysis. Really, I mean, I think there will be a lot of defensive players going, and the offensive players will go. Just, I don't think it will be like last year where it was like tons of quarterbacks in the top 10, top 12, and tons of offensive players. I don't think it'll be like that this year. So, I mean, yeah, there's that. So yeah, I mean, I think this draft is definitely highly for defensive tackles and defensive ends. Just the whole defensive positions in general.
All right. Well, we're just gonna have to figure out what happens on the day of the draft.
Yeah. And that is April 24th. We will see what happens, folks. And don't forget, be tuned when your team is on the clock.
Yes. Especially my Buccaneers. I definitely have to watch what they do.
And I have to watch what my Bills do.
Of course.
Alright, so we know this is actually going to be our second lengthiest episode besides our first one. With not so many topics today, just a lot of subject about the topics.
Yeah. From the Masters to the playoff pushes to the drafts.
To
Man.
everything. And shall we remind you, we actually have some news. Like, we would like to remind you guys, the WrestleMania special episode is this weekend. Episode 1 will be WrestleMania Saturday. WrestleMania 2 will be on that episode 2 will be on WrestleMania Sunday. James, would you like to tell them the news about that?
So, I will not be on the sports podcast for WrestleMania. The NASCAR Xfinity Series is coming back to Rockingham on Saturday, April 19th. So I'm going to be gone throughout that weekend, enjoying time with my family and watching the race.
Yeah, I hope you have a great time there, by the way. It's always fun going to races. Hope you have a great time at Rockingham. But that doesn't, so he will be absent for that episode. And he will, I am pretty sure, it's almost 100% sure, be back for the next episode after that. So, but that does not mean the WrestleMania special is off because I remember, if you guys remember, I have mentioned a special guest many times. His name is Jake. He will be doing the podcast along with me this weekend for the WrestleMania special. He is very knowledgeable with the WWE. He will be the weekend special guest and co-host for WrestleMania special along with me. And then James will return after that.
Jake, if you're listening to this, I hope you enjoy filming this episode with Brian. I hope you enjoy taking my spot, but don't worry, guys. I'm going to be back soon, and I will continue to have fun making these episodes with you, Brian.
Yeah, it's great filming them with you too, even though we have our disagreements about things, but, it's great. I mean, we gotta think, let's take a moment to thank each other, we're just two random kids that wanted to do something cool, and, we like talking about sports, so here it is.
Yeah, we've already made it to 5 episodes, which I didn't think could happen. I thought we'd have like an episode or two and then we just wouldn't be able to do it, but We're on our way to 10 episodes now, having this being the 5th, and I want to thank Brian for being my partner, and I want to thank you guys, the fans, for watching us.
Yeah, I want to thank you, James, as well, for being my partner in crime. Great job, rounded together, and the fans as well. You know, for those who are watching, probably not many, but if you are watching this, I truly thank you, and you'll be a part of our journey. Hopefully, I know we'll get to the top of things eventually, and we would love you guys stick with us and everything. So it's just us kids wanting to do something, and that doesn't cost money, and this is what our option is.
Yeah, and we're gonna get better equipment. We're gonna get better at this talking thing eventually, but just like everything else, it is gonna take some time.
Yeah, it's gonna take time for popularity to grow. Like on the channel right now, we have 13 subscribers, and that's mostly our family and friends. We don't have much watch time either, actually. I want to give a big shout out to Jake, who has watched all of our episodes so far. Thank you, Jake. And he will be, like we said, he'll be on next week, so y'all will get to hear him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we enjoy him. And I will get him to shout out his podcast next week, which is a Christian religious podcast. I recommend you guys check that out, but I will let him describe those details this weekend. So, with that said, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Go out, watch WrestleMania this weekend coming up. Watch the draft on the 24th. Watch the NBA playoffs. Watch the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Watch everything. And it will be a very, very interesting month in sports.
Definitely. This is when it gets real.
This is when it really comes to life, guys.
Well, I don't have any more words here. Brian, if you're ready to send our final goodbyes, then let's do it.
All right, I think you should say the final word this week since you'll be out. But guys, I'll be signing off here. I'll see y'all for the WrestleMania special. I'm signing off.
Alright, Jake, I think you're gonna do very, very well. I hope you guys will be able to have fun and interact with Jake, even though I'm not going to be there, but I think he will do very well in my place. So, this is me signing off until after the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Rockingham.